Hi, and welcome to week 14, BIOL1 students. You have made it through 4 weeks of remote instruction that you didn't sign up for. I've made it through 4 weeks of remote teaching that I didn't sign up for. I really appreciate the amount of patience and understanding that you've all shown with both me and Colette. We've all been facing various challenges, both personal and professional, and we're all doing the best that we can. So we really appreciate your patience, and I appreciate the dedication that you guys have been showing. So just wanted to go through what's up this week, the penultimate week of classes, and keep everybody understanding what they got to do. So we've got for Tuesday the 28th, prokaryotes, cells that do not have a nucleus, and protists, which are among the simplest of the cells that do have a nucleus, eukaryotes. So there's an introduction. There's a Wendy Riggs lecture on single-celled creatures. I put up 2 links to articles from the Khan Academy classroom site I set up for us. And there's our quiz, the chapter, the study guide for prokaryotes and protists. And I did also put in a link to a cladogram builder, looking at these types of organisms as we move into biological diversity and putting them into a cladogram or a phylogenetic tree. So groupings of organisms are called clades. This is why it's called a cladogram. And phylogenetics is how we sort of put things onto a visual tree based on their genetics. So we file them genetically, phylogenetics. And so this build a tree evolution game is relatively challenging, but it does show you how to build a picture based on evolutionary relationships. So the first one here, the characteristics we're looking at separating out the organisms are cells that have a nucleus and if they have left-right symmetry. And as we look down here, we have a bird, a lizard, and a plant. All of these organisms have a nucleus. They're all eukaryotic plant cells, and then these are animal cells. And then left-right symmetry, meaning they're exactly the same on the left and the right-hand side. And the animals will have that, and plants don't necessarily have that. So we're going to drag some circle here, some critter here to build a tree. Let's start with our plant. And then you drag up the others, and then the connecting lines between the organisms are what indicate their relatedness. So if I stick the lizard up there, this is saying this plant has one of these traits, but not the other. The lizard has both. Well, the plant definitely has a nucleus. The lizard has a nucleus and left and right symmetry. And if we put the bird is going to be more closely related to the lizard than it is to the plant. And so if I were to stick it here, that doesn't make sense. That says the bird has its own evolutionary path, and then the plant and the lizard are more closely related. So we can just drag it over. And now if we look at these little circles, this says this is the organism that has one of those traits, and we said that it has to be cells with a nucleus. And these 2 dots indicate that these 2 animals, these 2 organisms, both have both of the traits we're looking at. And now you drag these circles onto here so that the picture makes sense. So they all have a nucleus. So I'm going to drag that to the root of the tree. And then left-right symmetry, I don't want to put it here because then I have nothing that's going over toward these organisms. So if I put the left-right symmetry over here, then we get that we are correct. I'll do one more, and then you'll be able to practice this. Now we have 3 animals, a human, a bird, and a bat. The things that we're looking at are internal skeleton and mammary glands. Well, all 3 of these have their skeletons on the inside. They're not insects, they're not crustaceans, they're not like crabs that have a crunchy outside. Our skeletons are on the inside. And humans and bats actually have mammary glands. Bats are mammals. So again, if we just drag one creature on there, and we drag the human on there, now if we put the bat over here, again, that says the bat has its own route that is separate and that the bird and the human are more related. And even if we weren't that sure about the relationships, we could see the bird only has one of the characteristics over here, and the bat and the human both have two. So the thing that would separate these out, the bird has an internal skeleton but not mammary glands. So the bat can't go over here. Now if we move the bat, we've got the human and the bat together with sharing two of those characteristics, the bird off by itself. The thing that is shared by all of them is having an internal skeleton, so the thing that everybody has goes at the root of the tree. Up we go. And the thing that is shared by the other two goes at the root of those two. Now the trees get more and more complicated as you go through. They got to a few that, oh, I don't know how many legs a crab has, but if you keep dragging it around until all the organisms in a particular cluster have the same number of circles or shared traits, then you'll know that you have it done correctly. Go back to our module. Okay. All right, at the bottom. What is going? There we are. So that's for the 28th. And for the 30th, there's an introduction to the plants and fungi. I have once again uploaded Wendy Riggs' BIOL1 online lectures. Her biodiversity overview contains the lectures for chapters 13, 14, and 15. So chapter 13 is the protists and the prokaryotes. Chapter 14 is the plants and fungi. And chapter 15 is dealing with animals. So for Thursday the 30th, you just need to look at the part that is dealing with the plants and fungi. For the 28th, did I not put it up there? I will. You will just need to look at the diversity part for chapter 13, the protists and the prokaryotes. Now the BIOL1 lab final will get moved. Colette, like myself, had some technical difficulties with getting the 24th lab published. I had some difficulties in my other class with getting things uploaded and visible to students, so we appreciate your patience and understanding with the technical glitches, and not having stuff load exactly on time isn't the hugest priority for us to get help with. So we are doing the absolute best we can. So you will not have your lab final due this Friday. We will move that to the 8th. And then next week, or by the end of this week, I will get our last 2 modules uploaded. And I did change the grade book so that the lowest exam score gets dropped. So if you're happy with the exams you've taken so far, you don't need to take the final. If you had some whoopsies or had to miss an exam, take the final and then your low score will be dropped. No matter what, if you just need or want to take the final for the experience and to have that information, you're absolutely welcome to do exactly that. So I hope that you're all healthy and well, and that if you have any questions, you don't hesitate to email me or Colette. We can answer questions through email. We can set up a Zoom conference. We're happy to help as much as we possibly can. Take care.